It's time for Shake, Rattle, and Troll, a show for the serious fishermen, as well as the novice looking for tips from the pros. Shake, Rattle, and Troll is brought to you by Bill Luke Dodge Chrysler Jeep. Now, here's your host, saltwater fisherman and tournament pro, Don McDowell.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm Don McDowell. Welcome to the Sunday edition of Shake, Rattle, and Troll. We call it the Sunday edition because we don't have a Saturday edition.
Correct.
JK's in the house.
Morning, Don.
Did you do any two-stepping last night? Little line dancing?
No line dancing, but yeah.
Do you square dance?
No. No.
Yeah, not yet.
Never.
You will.
No.
You will. That's what happens when you get your AARP card. Trade your AARP
That's the
card
one I
in.
rejected a decade ago. That's not ever going to find its place in my wallet.
No, but you're still on their mailing list.
I know, so are you.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, buddy. They don't take that at Starbucks, by the way.
Tried, didn't we?
We have a couple special guests today from the ACCA. We have Eric and Andrew. Andrew, you're the vice president, is that correct?
That's correct, Don. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and the proper greeting is good morning, Mr. Vice President.
Well, thank you. Well, good morning to you.
Thank you for coming down. Eric, do you have a title as well?
Yes, sir. I am the Secretary/Public Relations Officer for the ACCA.
The Secretary of Public Relations? Nice!
Public Relations.
Oh, public. I get that. Okay. Well, hey, thanks for coming down. You guys are pretty awesome. We're going to be talking about catfishing in general. And
what does that stand for, ACCA?
It stands for the Arizona Catfish Conservation Association.
Take my pencil, write it down.
No, I just wanted to
There'll be a test on March 14th.
Catfishing conservation. It was the conservation that threw me.
Why?
Just couldn't pull it. Yeah, I knew it was catfishers. I just didn't know that the conservation aspect of it. I thought catfish lived forever.
Unless Bobby Wright catches them.
Ah.
And then there's cornmeal involved. I'm kidding. Where's Bobby today? Did he make it home from...
He's on a long journey back home from a job he had out of state. So
no, he was in what, Wisconsin, Minnesota, someplace with double minus digits.
Yeah, he was somewhere cold, but he's making his way back. I talked to him last. He was in Texas last night. So
Texas.
Yeah, I'm working his way back.
All right, well, that's good news. What are you guys up to at Bill Luke Bass Days this year, March 14th, 15th, and 16th?
Well, I got to tell you, we are really, really excited. This is the first big event that the ACCA is going to be involved in as the ACCA. We're really excited to be a part of it, and we're going to put on 3 different derbies during the Bill Luke event. First off, we're going to have a channel catfishing tournament on the first day, which is going to be Friday.
Very cool.
And we would really like to get the kids and the families involved in this. And this is going to be a day event. And we're really hoping for a big turnout and hoping to see a lot of kids out there and their families fishing and catching the big ones. And we're going to mirror that and do the same event again on Saturday. And then Saturday night, starting the afternoon, the registration, we're going to do a flathead catfishing tournament Saturday night. And that's going to conclude Sunday morning. So this is going to be an overnight tournament. And hopefully a big turnout, and hopefully we get some nice big flatheads to weigh in Sunday morning for the crowd, and hopefully convert some of those bass anglers to catfish anglers, because it's a really, really exciting sport.
Yeah. I'll be sure to measure my bass boat and see if I can get a recliner and a barbecue grill on it. Yeah.
A recliner? How about the bed and all the alarms and everything else?
Oh, my gosh.
Well, we gotta do it in style. We gotta be comfortable and relaxed, and that's really the main difference when you have talk about cat fishermen, especially flathead fishermen and bass fishermen. We're much more relaxed, and we go out there to have a relaxing time. We sit in the chairs, we kick back, and we cast out our lines, and we wait. So, and we see those bass fishermen going zooming back and forth across the lake in a hurry.
Yeah, that's called running and gunning.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, let's just say our ADD medication,
we'd need a lot more of it.
Every 30 days.
Considering that Don and I both have an affiliation with crankbaits because we need to be moving at all times.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I think I'd probably take out a a portable computer and start writing War and Peace. I couldn't handle just standing there.
Well, you know, since we've met you guys, you know, we've taken a real hard look at catfishing here in Arizona. I've had discussions across the country, a lot of them in Alabama, and some parts of the country, catfishing along with striper and crappie fishing is a
religious
religion. It is.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And it's getting to be like that out here. And there's a certain cult, let's say, at the ACCA that they're there. They're there.
Oh, yeah.
And the stunning part is actually what lives in our water here, John. I get pictures from Andy and Bobby, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention Flathead Ed. You have his hat. I have one. And there's some scary big fish live in the water. What kind of weight are you anticipating coming out of Lake Pleasant?
You know, it's going to be a difficult time of year. It's kind of a transition period when the fish start getting out of their winter routines and start moving in and getting a little bit more active as the water starts warming up. But we're hoping to see some, you know, big 40-pound class fish coming across the scales, and I wouldn't be too surprised if I saw that. Lake Pleasant is one of those lakes that seem to be emerging as a major flathead fishery. I mean, for years it's been the Salt River chain, it's been the Verde River chain, and not so much action in Lake Pleasant and along the Agua Fria. But it's surprising. I myself have captured some pretty large fish out of Lake Pleasant, and there's some bigger ones out there swimming around. I think Flathead Ed, as much as anybody, can attest to that. He spends a lot of his time out there and has really got that lake down to a science. So, you know, picking his brain is a good way to go to learn more about that lake, because...
Well, the cool part about picking Ed's brain is it doesn't take too long. I'm just saying. Love you, Ed.
What? I'm waiting till the next time he comes in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's
going to be a few
paybacks.
Yep.
Pretty tough one. Eric, what have you heard? What's the biggest fish you've heard come out of Pleasant?
I think there wasn't any accurate scales around. They were running around looking for scales. A couple people got some phone calls to see if somebody could run out there. It was probably 60-pound class fish.
Wow.
That was Philip. When was that? That was a few months ago, right? It was still warmer out.
Yeah. It's
he got it up on the out in the humbug arm, if I'm not mistaken, and he was. It was probably with the girth, with the measurements of it. It was probably about a 60-pound class fish.
Which do you guys have a particular formula length?
That one would probably be better for Andy, because I know he's currently the CNR record holder.
Yeah, we've got one for bass. I think it's length times the girth divided by 800 to give you a fairly accurate.
That's kind of like our elk estimates in the state of Arizona. X times this equals that, Bridenstine.
You know, the flathead is a fish. It's odd. You know, you get a really short and fat fish, and you get a long and skinny fish, and a lot of times those formulas aren't always exactly accurate.
Well, yeah, but they're something normal.
Yeah, and you know, certainly if you're a cat fisherman out there and you're out there for the big dogs and you're fishing for those big 50, 60-pound fish and you're equipped for it, one significant thing to have in your tackle box with you is a weighing a sling. And this is essentially a mesh pocket that you attach to a scale, and you weigh these fish in. It puts a lot less stress on the animal when you put the fish under weight, when you put the fish under scale. So getting those big fish and putting them on a scale and hanging them by the jaw isn't always the best thing.
Oh, that's got to hurt.
Mm-hmm. And for an animal that's used to living in a neutrally buoyant environment, you know, all of a sudden, you know, being strung up and having its innards, everything being, you know, forced down towards the bottom of the fish. So it does put a lot of stress on them. So, you know, we encourage a lot of anglers that are out there hunting for these big flatheads, and their intentions are to release these guys, is to use a sling as part of their arsenal with their tackle equipment.
I've often thought the life of a fish, John, I'll put some thought into this, there you are swimming along, and you think, cheeseburger.
Right.
You go to bite the cheeseburger. The next thing you do, you've got a pain in your lip. You're shooting to the surface. You go to the light, into the boat, into the live well. Then you see one of these guys throwing you in a basket, taking you to the scales.
And that's the last thing you
Yeah,
want to become
just like,
before you become a
what?
fillet. Yep.
Yeah.
For a lot of fishermen out there, seeing a big catfish like that is an overwhelming experience, and it's so tempting to take that animal and throw it in the back of your truck, and you want to show everybody. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, those are really tough fish, and they could withstand quite a bit. But a big flathead, a trophy class flathead, 40-pound plus fish, it's a really special animal, and it's taken a long time to grow that long. And
About how long? Give me an idea.
The life expectancy of a flathead varies. I think the upwards, the high end of the age scale is about 25 years. Maybe not even that high. Maybe close to 20 years. And really, it's genetics. You get a big fish that spawns. You going to pick this up?
Yeah, hold that thought. We've got to get in and thank some of our sponsors, including Bill Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram, I-17 and West Camelback Road since 1927. I'm Don McDowell with
George Strait.
Eric Cott.
And Andy Surgic.
We'll be right back.
That don't sound like love. Sounds like it sucks. He can't even spit a buck.
Wow. Prius that you love blowing drinks. Really, JK?
Hey.
Back to you, Andy, on the life of a flathead.
Okay, thank you, Don. Yeah, well, like I was saying before, the flathead species, I mean, the life expectancy of these animals, it completely varies on the environments and type of the waters that these fish swim in, the types of food that it eats. But an animal growing to 50, 60, 70, in upwards of those weights, it's a really special animal, and it has a lot to do with the genetics, just like people. People get big, some people don't get big at all. And that comes in the importance of releasing those big animals so you can release those big fish genetics back into the water to ensure that we're going to see more big fish.
Golly, I'm so glad hunters don't think like that.
I quit water skiing. Stay in the bass boat, not getting in there anymore.
It's such a thrill, catching such a huge animal, and for us and for a lot of guys that do fish for them, that have a deep respect for these animals, it's no bigger thrill than watching these big animals swim away.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, periodically, different times of the year, they're pretty opportunistic feeders, and they'll eat a crankbait, they'll eat a spinnerbait, whack your Cinco, and I'm telling you, the only thing that goes through your mind is the big fish option.
Yes. Signed up for you.
Oh, yeah. And after a little while, they start to roll, and you go, oh, my
God, it's a catfish.
Oh, yeah. 2, 3 in the morning, you're up there beating the bank, and especially at Apache is one of those lakes, like throwing crawdads up there.
I feel the same way when I'm out there bait fishing and I get one of those bass. I'm like, dang it, not a bass. And just kick that thing back in the water.
Cool. Mr. Secretary, what's your membership right now in the ACCA?
What are we looking at for numbers?
Well, we've got quite a few people that are involved in the ACCA. As mentioned before, we're a relatively new association, somewhat in our infancy, and right now our membership is around 100 people that are involved in the ACCA, but that continues to grow. And we've just we finished our website. That's catfishaz.com. So people have the opportunity to go online and learn more about the ACCA and what we're about and projects that we're involved with and possibly volunteering opportunities as well.
This man has a future in politics. Did you know that? Are you talking about me two-stepping? He sideways that. It was just gorgeous.
Damn.
I love it. I mean, you really have a future. I'm going to have him write my
Mr. Secretary was cool. He just kind of like passed it right off.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I watched the tag
That was
team.
one of the numbers that I didn't know, but we are working on. We just got our structure, how we want to kind of base our membership on and our fees and everything, because we are working on nonprofit for Arizona, and we're working on being a actual nonprofit 501c3
right,
and stuff like that. So we're working on our membership structure and going to get a solidified number here shortly. So
at Big Bass Days, or March 14th, 15th, and 16th, you guys are going to have a booth and sharing information. Are you going to have seminars on how to catch the flathead or the channel catfish?
The amount of information is directly a result of the size of the donation to the ACC. No,
so if we donate a whole bunch of money, you'll give me a lot of information. If I donate a dime, you're going to say, go in the water.
Here's the difference between cat fishermen and bass fishermen. Bass fishermen aren't going to tell you squat.
Oh, yeah, they will. They lie.
Well, yeah, but
come on.
Yeah, if Andrew says, that was on a white spinnerbait, trust me, it was on a brown jig on the other end of the lake.
Yeah, I see that a lot. Yeah, it's amazing when you talk to a bass fisherman how little information. I mean, just passing one on the lake and you say, "Hey, how are things going?" And "Oh, yeah, good. Are you catching any? Having any luck?" "Oh, we got one. What you using?" And that conversation ends right there.
Yeah,
but
whatever's tied on the boat, that's not it.
Yeah, it's just.
Most of the time when we're out, you see somebody on the shore who hasn't gotten bait yet, and you got extra bait. Hey, you need a couple bluegill, or you need a couple carp. I got extra stuff like that. We'll help each other out and stuff like that. I mean, even last year at one of the tournaments, there were guys at a tournament helping each other out, giving each other bait and stuff like that. They showed up late, got there just for registration. Not necessarily enough time to catch bait or prepare. So, hey, you got an extra carp? Oh, yeah, here's an extra carp, or here's an extra couple bluegills. So,
not happening in my world.
Oh,
people ask me all the time, hey, where'd you get that big bull, or where'd you find those antlers? And it's always the same answer, in the woods. Not happening any closer to that.
On that note, what difference does it make, because the bull has already been harvested, the game is over, you're on your way home, you're at Mag's Ham Bun in Payson having beans.
You know what the reason is here, it's very simple, just like he said. It's genetics. We're concerned about the locale. We're concerned about the environment. We want to make sure the progeny from that big bull are going to be back there, and they're going to be back there in 3 years.
Wow.
Bureau speak.
The community of cat fishermen, we're really a close-knit bunch. And
I've noticed that.
It's almost like a family gathering when you get out there. And we're always inviting new people to join us and learn the sport and learn the techniques. And, it's not somebody on a boat's not going to have a bigger advantage than somebody on the shore. You know what, Don? They're going to find religion when there's a $50,000 first prize going out the door.
I can see this growing here.
Share what?
Seriously.
You didn't bring your bluegill up. Too bad for you, dummy.
I've been talking to guys in Alabama at TTI Blakemore, Daiichi and True Turn Hooks. They do some partnering with Ken Freeman back there. And we're looking at doing something with ACCA and Freeman and his bunch next year. I see that happening. Ken may fly out this year, and it's kind of like a lot of things. You're more famous the further you get away from home, and that's kind of like Ken. You start talking about the catfish derbies, and he puts on a pretty good show. He's got his trailers and this and that. We've got to get over some political issues. One of his sponsors is Bass Pro Shops.
Ooh.
And I think Chevrolet. So, just those two things right there are like, not.
Nope.
And but, politics aside, the family values of what Bill Bass is doing, what ACCA is doing, and the crappie guys. You see mom, dad, the kids out there floating around on the pontoon boat is all good. So I'm anxious to see how this sorts out this year. We'll be doing a lot of other conservation issues. We've got some bow fishing coming up. You guys are all catch and release. We're trying to do some conservation efforts for Adobe Mountain. So all the striper option fish that aren't harvested, the white bass that aren't harvested, we're asking the carp guys to bring in as many carp as they shoot, and they can, figure out big carp, 5 carp, however they want to do that. All of those fish go over to Adobe Mountain. They get chopped up, frozen. They use them for food to feed the rehab animals.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember what Sandy told me, but she's just got an under $40,000 a year budget to run that thing. So food's a big deal. I mean,
that's where I turned in all my the wild game that I had that had been sitting in there for over a year in my freezer. I took all of it into her and dropped
freezer
it up.
burn.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm not eating it, but for wildlife, oh yeah, it's going down.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. On that note, when we come back, Fisheries Branch Chief Chris Cantrell is going to join us by phone on the Fish and Wildlife Service hatchery closures that are having a devastating impact nationally, and how we can fight it here in Arizona.
And devastating is an understatement.
Here we go again. We got another firefight, guys. We got a mission. I'm Don McDowell with
Eric Cutt
and
Andrew Surdick.
JK.
the two-stepper.
Straight in a straight line, you can't get here fast enough.
All righty, we're back. We got to get this thing tightened up. We have Fisheries Branch Chief Chris Cantrell from AZGFD on the line. Good morning, Chief. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. We're getting our foxhole dug to engage in battle again with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service on this hatchery closure. Thanks for taking time out of your Sunday and Super Bowl Sunday at that.
I am so impressed, Chris. Way to go.
Well, let me tell you, when recreational fishing is a $115 billion industry in the United States, when it's at when it's under attack, you got to get a little defensive.
This is a case of the tail wagging the dog, is it not?
Well, I'm not exactly 100% sure. We haven't had many conversations, which is concerning, because we've built our systems integrally together, the Fish and Wildlife Service and the state. And this isn't just in Arizona. This is across the nation. Our hatcheries are linked by necessity. Every single one of our trout eggs that come into the state come from a national fish hatchery system. So we get 2 million trout eggs. We have 636,000 anglers in Arizona, and about 50% of them last year bought a trout stamp. So you're talking a major impact, $500 million, $600,000 impact to the state if we're at risk of not getting eggs.
And why don't you give a brief description of what the Fish and Wildlife has said that they're planning on doing?
Sure. So
start with Willow Beach.
Okay. Well, let me take a step back before that, Don. On October 12th, 2012, we got a letter that said they were going to, take a look at their hatcheries and go under a workforce analysis. And we thought, hey, you know what, that's pretty good idea, because for every 2 hatchery workers in the feds, we operate with 1. So we're a little bit more efficient than they are. And so we said, okay, that's fine. We did not get involved in that. We said, okay, well, they weren't offering though. And so, about a year and a half later, we got a note in the mail that says, well, we're going to delay the information. And then finally in November it came out. Obviously, as you know, you don't delay good information. So when it came out, they had apparently put a review board together and identified a number of priorities in the United States for their fish hatchery systems. And that review board essentially started with recovery of threatened and endangered species, then conservation for aquatic species, mitigation hatcheries that are under treaty with Indian tribes, and then it went down to other types of conservation for other aquatic species, and then finally mitigation production and stocking of non-native fish, which includes all of the mitigation trout and non-mitigation trouts for the United States. And that's where most of the states get their recreational fishing trout eggs and or get reimbursed through stockings of rainbow trout and other trout species into places like Flaming Gorge Reservoir that mitigate for the Colorado River Storage Act when the when the dams were put in place. So these are long-term successful programs that were built that are now being at risk of being transferred to doing something else or being closed. So on November 21st, we got a call saying that 40,000 fish died at Willow Beach National Fish Hatchery because of low water levels, 40,000 trout, and because of low water levels at Lake Mojave. And sure enough, the lake had dropped down by 40%, exposed the pipe, and unfortunately they weren't able to get enough water moving through the system and lost quite a bit of trout on station. They ended up stocking about 15,000 trout afterwards. What we heard subsequently to that was that they were going to implement this workforce analysis direction and not bring trout back on station. So we immediately estimated that to be about a $7 to $11 million to the local economy on the Colorado River, places around Bullhead City up to Las Vegas, Kingman area. And once that word started coming out that trout were not going to be stocked again, that's when we started to hear from the public. We were already working on trying to figure out from the feds why this was a unilateral decision, why the states weren't involved in this, and how we could try to work towards remedying it. So, obviously, Willow Beach is the tip of the iceberg, and that's where we're at with some of that information, and we're working with a number of partners to hopefully try to come up with some contingency plans.
Chris, let me ask you this. Couple things comes to mind. We have the wolf issue, we have jaguar issues, and all these other four-legged furry critters. Are the same bunch, the DOW and CBD, in cahoots with Dan Ash pushing this thing forward?
Well, I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to throw out any kind of conspiracy issues here.
Oh, it's not conspiracy,
no,
Chris. It's fact. I mean,
yeah, it's a matter
the Center
of
for
fact.
Biological Diversity and the humpback chub issue was one of the leaders on that.
Yeah, they're pushing the Zuni bluehead chub and just a number of other things, trying to get them on the ESA list.
Well, you guys probably know better than I do. But you know what has been prioritized, I'm not exactly sure where those priorities come from, because as the fish chief in the state of Arizona, I don't have a ton of need beyond what we're currently already meeting with our dual mandates to propagate, produce, and stock native species. Unfortunately, we're in a situation where these habitats are so altered that they are not conducive to native species anymore in a number of areas. And,
Correct.
And we should provide the opportunities and balance those, put those into places where we think we can be successful, instead of just making this, one-size-fits-all decision across the nation.
Well, a genetically engineered fish that through history and development is used to fast-running streams is then changed over in Arizona because we've placed 7 different impoundments to hold water so that the population can survive. And now we're going to take all of the sport fisheries money and we're going to make sure that this fish, which is on its way out because we no longer have any running streams, is going to be force-fed to the public.
Yeah, either that or striped bass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, unfortunately that we do, well, fortunately for fishermen, but unfortunately for the native species, these habitats have a number of predators in them, and we do what we can to stock those, but removing the rainbow trout and stocking a few more native species is not going to solve the problem.
No, it's not. Chris, what do we, the general public, we've got another firefight on our hands. Who do we call? What do we do? How do we support you in your efforts through the fisheries department at the game department to get this thing on the table?
I can't lobby one way for or against people's decisions, what they make, but if they feel strongly one way or the other, whether they support it or they don't support it, call your congressman, call your representative on the Hill.
Are you going to have any definitive...
The best way. Unfortunately, the states have not been brought to the table to make these decisions, so, it's up to the American people to say, I either like this or I don't.
Are you going to have any definitive press releases coming out on all the issues and so on?
Once we know a little bit more information, unfortunately, it's like trying to pull teeth. We literally have not been asked to be at the table with any of these discussions. There was a discussion last week with the Indian tribes on rolling this out. From what my sources tell me, that they were being told they were going to be cut as well, which I don't think that's going to go over very well.
Nope.
Just the same as it did with the states. As soon as I find more information, we'll be rolling more press releases out. We'll be letting folks, giving them factual information, being transparent with the information that we have, and then identifying, whether or not they support or not support it. They can call those folks, and we can get that information.
Well, it seems if the Wildlife Service is quickly to engage the tribes, let's say. Did they forget that we also are a sovereign nation and we should be at the table with them? Don't answer that. That was a loaded question. We've got to flip into a break. Can you stay with us during the break and finish this up?
Absolutely.
All right, Chief Cantrell, we do not have any soldiers killed in action this week. Praise God. We're going to stand down, take a break, finish this up on hatcheries. I'm Don McDowell with
Andy Surgic,
Eric Cott,
JK.
We'll be right back. All righty, we're back visiting with our Fisheries Branch Chief Cantrell from AZGFD on hatcheries. Chris, to sum this thing up, how big of a fight do we have here, dollar-wise, angler-wise? What does it mean to Arizona to lose these fisheries?
Well, we've got 3 national fish hatcheries in Arizona, and then so we got Willow Beach, which we've lost. We've got Williams Creek Alchesay, which provides mostly trout to the reservations, as well as it does provide all of our Apache trout eggs. And then we have Ennis National Fish Hatchery in Montana that provides us 2 million triploid trout eggs annually. That's it. That's all of our eggs that come in. So it's a big, big issue if we fail, or if they fail to provide trout eggs, but at this point, the fight that's on our hands is to redefine those priorities.
Talk to me a little bit about bubbling ponds up there. What do you grow up there specifically?
Bubbling ponds, we grow through contracts with Salt River Project and Bureau of Reclamation to offset their mitigation for moving water and power. We provide them areas to grow out razorback suckers, Colorado pike minnow, and roundtail chub.
Okay, any thoughts on converting that to a warm water hatchery?
We are evaluating it at this time to look at bringing in bass and bluegill and red ear. We can't produce catfish cheaper than we can get them out of Arkansas. So
is any of this
those 2 species?
Is any of this recent action going to trickle down and affect warm water efforts?
Pardon, you mean warm water efforts for Roosevelt Lake?
Well, any of our lakes, we've got limited resource, and we're going to obviously divert personnel and efforts to the trout hatcheries. That money's got to come from somewhere. The effort has to come from somewhere.
Oh, well, it's paid for. All of the production of those natives come from contract funds. So Bureau of Reclamation and SRT pay us to do that.
Okay, cool.
But
let's get back,
at this point,
Chris, let's get back to the question.
right.
How do we engage? Do we engage with you personally? Do we write the department as a whole? Do we need to start hammering on congressmen and senators and so on?
I think if you feel strongly one way or the other, definitely the way to make change at this level, because it's a national issue, is to work with your representatives and members of Congress on the Hill, and definitely support us. I think support the department because we're trying to get at the table. I think we can be successful to get at the table with them, with the service, and we're meeting with the commission in the February commission meeting to brief the director and the commission on these issues in front of the public, and the public will have the opportunity to come up and voice their opinion as well and let the commission know where they stand.
Anything else? We've got about maybe 4 minutes. Anything else you want to lay on the table?
Anything you want me to?
Well, yeah, I know we've got a hard effort on Florida strain stocking. We're dealing with the gizzard shad. We're looking at a triple prong approach to fixing Roosevelt Lake on the warm water side.
Yep, and we've had lots of requests to expand some of that same effort on other lakes like Alamo Lake.
What's on Alamo? The water level's pretty low. How low are they going to let it get?
We do what we can to try to discuss with them, and they plan based on precipitation. Hopefully this is probably as low as it's going to get, but I got to do my rain dance after we get off the phone. Hasn't worked yet.
That would be Now, I heard Flagstaff got some snow over Friday night. Is that true? They got about 7 inches?
So I don't know what the total accumulation was, but John, we're
I know we're in hurting.
We've been, Chris can go back to 2005. The atmospheric conditions were similar to what happened in 2005. That was one of the driest years on record. Have you talked to NOAA or any of the weather gurus on the prognosis for the balance of the first quarter?
Well, we usually work directly with our partners at SRT Corps of Engineers, APS. Our local managers are in discussions with them about where these water levels are going to go. And I definitely, if folks have questions, call your regional offices, talk to your fisheries program manager. If they don't have the answer, they can get it. But that doesn't mean that they have the crystal ball. They don't know when the weather's going to come, and that's the key to all of it.
Well, I think, between your efforts and rain dancing, we have Madazell Apache tribe involved in Bass Days, and John happens to be the president of the
Hungarian Gypsy Federation.
Yeah, thank you.
You need to work with us.
So you do you do rain dancing as well?
For a price, I'll do any dance.
Yeah, I know your women, children, and chickens are not safe, but I didn't know about the rain dance. Wow. All right. Hey, well, cool. Thanks for joining us. We look forward to supporting you through your efforts. You're doing a hell of a job across the board, Chief, and welcome on Shake, Rattle, and Troll anytime. Are you going to be able to grace us with your presence March 14th, 15th, or 16th at Bill Duke Bass Days?
I'll be out there.
Do you want to fish with Flathead Ed or Andy or Bobby or Eric here?
Oh man, that'd be fun.
Yeah, rumor has it.
I'm thinking about bringing my kids out there though.
Well, rumor has it from your new WM, Curtis Gill, you're pretty mean with a ugly stick and a hot dog.
Because that's the only way to catfish fish, right? Huh?
Well, these guys are kind of, really stirring up my mind. I've done too many kids events, and Oscar Mayer always is the bait of choice.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Or Rainbow Wonder Bread.
Oh, no, Chris, I swear I've never seen catfish respond as well as they do to Oscar Mayer hot dogs.
You're
Bam.
hilarious.
It's all good. All right, so one final question. Who's your pick for Super Bowl?
Seattle.
Oh, I like the way you talk, Chris.
I personally don't care. But if I had to choose one, I would go Seattle.
Yeah, probably going to be a nap involved, be my guess.
It's all about Earl Thomas. Those Texas Longhorns, man, they have really taken over the NFL.
Well, my pick this year is Hendricks Motorsports.
There you go.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson. All right, God love you, man. Have a great weekend. What's left of it, and we'll be back in the hunt on Monday morning.
All right, thanks for letting me get that info out.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it anytime. Chris Cantrell, Fisheries Branch Chief at Arizona Game and Fish Department, doing one heck of a job for all the anglers across the board in our great state.
And I'll tell you what, Don, anglers are exactly the same thing as this hunting community. The people who are making these decisions and forcing it through Fish and Wildlife Services have a higher intellect regarding the way they chase us. We're being chased. Fishermen are now being chased by these people. You know, if you guys do not have the capacity to contact your congressman and to meet with them on a regular basis and to put pressure, you're going to lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad to see these guys come to the table with
100%.
With their youth, enthusiasm, and passion. It may be a flathead catfish, but it's the overall posture of the mission. All righty, we're going to stand down. When we come back, we are going to let out the Sweet Bass giveaway for March 14th, 15th, and 16th with Tim Andrews from Real Country. We'll be right back.
Yeah, we got the power, we got the speed. We're running wide open on a midsummer breeze. Freshwater, saltwater, watch out, boys. Bass Daddy Don's gonna make some noise. Well, some like to rock, some like to roll. Me and the boys like to shake, rattle, and troll. Shake, rattle, and troll. Yeah, the kids do what they like. Rackets every pole. Me and the boys gonna shake, rattle, and troll.
It's time for Shake, Rattle, and Troll, a show for the serious fishermen, as well as the novice looking for tips from the pros. Shake, Rattle, and Troll is brought to you by Bill Luke Dodge Chrysler Jeep. Now, here's your host, saltwater fisherman and tournament pro, Don McDowell.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm Don McDowell. Welcome to the second hour of Shake, Rattle, and Troll. Having a lot of fun putting some stuff out there today. JK's in the house. We have Andrew, Mr. Vice President, and Mr. Secretary Eric from the ACCA, the Arizona Catfish Conservation Association, kicking in March 14th, 15th, and 16th at Bill Luke Bass Days. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk a little bit about a Sweet Bass giveaway with the voice of 96.3 Real Country, Tim Andrews.
Man, I have got to get myself a theme song. I keep forgetting. I hear that theme song every time, and I'm like, I got to get one of those.
You do?
I do.
Yeah, kiss a wife goodbye, throw away the weed eater.
Hey, Tim, if you got an extra $10,000, I'll cut it for you.
Yeah, let me talk to my boss. Oh, no, just check. Sorry.
Yeah, so, hey, thanks for kicking in with us today. What's happening on the man card rules and advisories? Any violations from the SRT camp?
You know, I've been hearing of some potential violations for sure. I'm not really sure what the whole licking a window in a vehicle. What is that all about? Anybody, can you help me with that?
Yeah,
you know, first I've heard of it.
It was one of those moments. Let's say I was dealing with a 12,000-pound winch for the 5-ton truck. Huh. It was just a long day, and Pat drove up, was in the way, so I made a face print on his window and licked it.
Oh, okay, that is without a doubt an instant 24-hour probationary period just to really determine, you know, what it was you were licking off the window.
Okay, now, a couple of weeks ago.
If it was hot sauce or barbecue sauce.
Or cleaning off the bugs.
Okay, wait, now I got to ask you. I had 3 man card passes because I was driving an M18 Hellcat tank destroyer.
Oh, that's right.
May I use one of those?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm down to 2.
And Don, do me a favor. Don't ever lick a window in front of another person again in a vehicle, because there's so many things that are not right about that.
Got it.
Okay.
Consider myself warned. Woo! All righty, hey, we got to talk about this Shake, Rattle, and Troll and 96.3 Sweet Bass giveaway.
Man, it is one sweet bass giveaway, that's for sure.
I'm telling you what, there's a lot of stuff on here to help get your fat bass in the boat. Starting off, we have 2 paid entries for all 3 days at Bill Luke Bass Days. Woohoo! $360 value. for paid entries. We have a day fishing for two on the lake with our Professor Jerry Tate. That guy's been fishing Lake Pleasant, Tim, since 1961.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, he was out there when it was a pond.
So you might know where the things are hidden.
Oh yeah, he's still out there, 3 or 5 days a week pounding around. I'm not sure he does any catfishing. I've never seen any hot dogs in his boat, so I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's going to be some catfishing, by the way. Oh, what is the prize for the Flathead catfish tournament part of the weekend?
I think that's an all-expense paid evening with Bobby Wright up at Handlebar J's.
Wow.
I could be wrong.
I was expecting so much more to go into my pocket when I win that with Flathead.
Well, I'm going to defer that over here to the Vice President and Secretary of Public Relations here.
Well, I think what's won is going to be directly determined on what type of response we get from the public and how many participants we have in the tournament.
Does that sound like a political dodge?
Yeah, that was so not an answer, but
man.
Yeah.
Let's just say there's cash involved. Looking at bass days on the largemouth side, we're canning out, Tim, over $50,000 in cash.
Man, that is so cool.
In years past, you got to fish for a truck and a boat. We're not doing it. It's all about show me the money.
Yeah, give me the cash.
Okay, let's see what else we have. We've got a $200 gift pack from TTI Blakemore.
I'm interested in number 6, a pair of 8-ounce knockers.
We're on number 4 right now. Thank you, JK.
The Dolly Parton concert was last week, by the way. Yeah. JK. So.
Okay, we've got 4 assorted colored fish clippers and a couple of bags of Westie worms. Robo-Westies is what they call them. I'm going to kick in a couple of custom spinner blades from Fat Bass Custom Baits. And number 6, John?
A pair of 8-ounce knockers, lure retrievers, and a WireTech $30 tackle package. No, we did not make this one up.
Are those brass knockers?
I hope not.
Knockers on a rope. Okay.
Step carefully here, Tim. Step carefully. Come on.
Okay, moving right along, we have 2 $50 gift cards from Sportsman's Warehouse at I-17 West Yorkshire Drive. 2 tackle web storage bags from Captain Mike Ortega at tacklewebs.com. We have $40 coupons from Red Lobster. Now, it says on my crib sheet here, they practice catch and release.
No.
They release to the grease.
Yeah, exactly. That's where they're gone.
Yeah, that's a whole nother concept. And speaking of barbecue sauce, we have Hemi barbecue sauce from Build It Chrysler, Jeep, and Dodge.
And I'll just let you know, today I will be doing my first sampling of the Hemi barbecue sauce, dropped off by Patrick, personally at the studios last week. And we're going to give it a shot and find out if it has what it takes to keep up with the Twisted Tim nacho dip that is currently on the stove right now.
Twisted Tim.
I need you to know what you think of that. I have my own personal opinion of that barbecue sauce, so let me know what you think of that. Number 11, we have some SRT.
I just want to meet
gear.
Jan.
Fine, get her autograph. We've got a couple of SRT shirts and hats. Number 12, John, this is especially for you. We have 2 $25 gift certificates from Mary Kay. April. I mean, that's going you've seen him in drag, Tim. It's absolutely.
Unfortunately, I have.
Yeah.
It's not a beautiful thing, let's say.
No, I even have a close-up and just don't even.
Oh, man.
Isn't that brutal?
Yeah, I got the Adam's apple, the 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Goatee throws it off.
Yeah, scary. From Pennzoil, a couple of quarts of Pennzoil 2-stroke motor oil. It's not oil, it's Pennzoil. And let's see.
Well, I want 14. That's the carry-all 2-gear bags from the Sportsman's Warehouse.
Nice.
Out at I-17 in Yorkshire. It's up to $34.
Okay, number 15. I'm not sure, Tim. I believe this is directed to you and I.
It is.
If any DJ, now we're DJs, goofs up the name of this contest, and let's just say we call it something other than bass.
Yeah.
We have to kick in with $100 of fuel for somebody's boat.
Huh. What rhymes with bass? Let me see.
Crass.
yeah. Well, here, let's just say, practice saying, get your fat bass in the boat 5 times and see what you come up with.
Okay.
So but not on the air.
I'll do that. Oh, really?
No, not today. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take the 6th caller today. What are you guys doing on 96.3?
Well, I tell you what, we will be qualifying people all week long during the week, over the next 2 weeks. And, I know we're going to have some real country T-shirts to throw in there. I figured we've got to have local boy Matt Ferris and his album that just came out. He's got Redneck Radio on there, Resident Redneck. He is a redneck through and through. And raised right here in Arizona and just signed in Nashville here last year. And got a couple other surprises we're going to throw into that prize pack as well. But, just listen to 96.3 and we'll get you qualified as well. You just got to listen for when to call. And we'll get you into the drawing and do it all on the 14th.
All right, man. Hey, we're going to kick you loose. Enjoy that heavy barbecue sauce. You can catch Tim in the morning, 96.3 on Real Country. We'll be right back.
It was all that I could do to keep from crying. Sometimes it seems so useless to remain.
That right there, that type of country music.
You betcha.
Go find your dog and have a beer and get the old pickup truck out.
Down the road.
Run it right in front of a train. All righty, here's the deal, guys. The 16th annual Bill Luke Bass Days, March 14th, 15th, 16th. Yep, over Pleasant Harbor RV and Resort Marina. It's the Southwest's largest fishing tournament and family fun festival in the Southwest. We've got free rides and events, carnival rides for the kids. You can go out and ride the carnival rides. We've got a big giant Ferris wheel, something they call the Hammer. Ooh, looking forward to that. $50,000 in cash and prizes, $10,000 the grand prize. Second, $2,000 daily big fish. We've got 6 hourly weigh-ins. We're paying down 10 places. First place is a $300 check. Second through 10th place is a $100 check. On the 15th, we have cornhole tournament competition. Wow. That was huge last year.
Oh, my God. That was unbelievable.
Yep. You need to sign up now for that. Spots are limited. $60 a team, double eliminations. First prize, $1,500. Second, $750. Third place, $500. Fourth place, $250. And on Sunday, if the family's engaged in the cornhole toss, we have a family tournament.
Really?
On Sunday. Friday night, Muggy-Owen's playing. Saturday night, Dwayne and his boys at Muggy-Owen are playing.
You mean Friday, Dina Preston?
Dina Preston Band. Don Ortiz and Dina Preston, they do a great job. What else have we got? Military vehicles and displays. We have the National Guard kicking in. This year, we have an Army tank, John.
Oh, that's awesome.
I believe that's a 1943 M18 Hellcat tank destroyer. Here's the interesting part about that particular vehicle. It was designed, engineered, and built by Buick, except for the cannon. Oldsmobile built the cannon.
Buick and Oldsmobile are tied at the,
I'm just saying.
They have a very symbiotic relationship.
We have a lot of stuff from Arizona Game and Fish Department. Like we mentioned, the live animals are coming out from Adobe Mountain. Sandy and Tammy are bringing the animals out. We have snakes and lizards and
Rocky the raccoon going to be there.
Well, I think he got kicked loose.
Serious?
Yeah, rumor has it, and they've got a bobcat over there that.
The bobcat I saw up at the Payson Fair was not happy to be there.
He's not a happy cat.
No.
Let's see, we've got Operation Game Thief trailer out there, boating safety. invasive species education on aquatic invasive species, clean, drain, and dry on the quagga mussels, and other information. The Arizona National Guard's bringing out their rock wall pedal cars. There is a hot dog race. So let's just say if you don't catch a channel catfish or a flathead catfish, you can use your hot dog
to succeed. If it's Oscar Mayer, look out, boys. I'm coming after you.
I just had this visual. Can you imagine Bobby Wright in a pedal car chasing a hot dog?
I can.
I can
me too.
actually.
I can. Here's the deal on the hot dog race. This is pretty fun. What we do is we string a line around the course, and we hang hot dogs that have been smothered in mustard from a string on that other string. And you race around the course, and you have to stop without using your hands, take a bite of the hot dog.
I don't mind being the first person through the course, but after that, forget about it.
Everybody's going to have to wear safety glasses. Last year we had one little casualty. The young man's glasses came off, and he was crying, and I thought he got hurt. I mean, this kid was
screaming,
just wailing. And his dad's going, "What's the matter, Bobby? What's the matter?" He was like, "I got slapped in the face with a wiener."
Might be a good time to learn the Heimlich maneuver. And
it was good. We had Arizona National Guard soldiers and kids smothered in mustard. It was a blast. Anyway, the rock climbing wall is out there. We're having kids casting, the backyard bass from sport fishing education. And aside from the bass fishing opportunities, we have a striper option. Carp bow fishing guys are coming out from John Sneed's bringing Dell Owens and his guys out. There's a big carp team option. ACCA is out there with channel cats and flathead catfish. Mm-hmm. John, what else? What food by Pigley's at the fair?
That's that pulled pork. Awesome stuff. And
by popular demand, we have this year a beer garden.
Thank you.
Yes, and that'll be manned by the staff from the Arizona Deer Association. Will there be jerky involved?
We've been talking about bringing something on to promote thirst. In that way, if we have it at the beer garden, it's kind of one of those cyclical things. More jerky, more beer, more jerky, more beer, and more jerky, more beer. And as long as nobody's intoxicated, we're fine. And then we'll pump water into them and make sure they can all drive home.
Cool. Got any ideas on that, Mr. Vice President?
I know sidestep it, boys.
Is there beer drinking and catfishing?
There's a lot of guys that do divulge into a little bit of drinking, but for me, no, I don't. I like to concentrate on the catch, and I do not drink while I'm on the water.
Well, this we're definitely promoting the family values of using the outdoors. We have the Matazel Casino. Daiichi Hooks is back. Gun Protect is here. RV rentals, Desert Golf Course, precision heavy hauling. I got to hand it to those guys. They went out and picked up the
M18.
The M18. I want to tell you what, man. Daniel and his big truck and big fat trailer did a fine job. We've got Lookout Mountain Outdoors, H&E Equipment, Bivouac Trailers, Alliance Lumber, the Wild Horse Inn, best cheeseburger in town. Pacific Tent, Arizona Boating and Water Sports, IDS, of course, Pennzoil and Sportsman's Warehouse, presenting sponsors this year. And the call out to Crown Distributing for Coors Light, Miller, Red's Apple Ale. It really tastes like apple juice.
There is a taste to it like that, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And Keystone Light. So we'll have things to quench our thirst. We'll have Mighty Mo donuts out there, the donut lady. Registration starts Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The registration will start Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 4 a.m. And that's pretty much the rundown. 96.3 will be out there doing some country music and going on. And you can go to the SRT website, ShakeRattleAndTroll.com. Check out all the stuff on the Sweet Bass giveaway. And here's the calling number, 602-277-5369. Once again, 602-277-5369 or 277 KFNX.
You know, the sponsor list keeps growing, and this looks awesome. And each year it just becomes more fun.
We have helicopter rides. Last year we had an R-44 from Raven. This year we have a full-blown Bell Jet Ranger.
Really?
Yes.
You know, of course, I won my ride by winning a contest with the owner of that helicopter service. He bet me, and it was the first prize for me was if I won, I had to. If he won, I had to do something for him through the ADA. If I won, he gave me a free helicopter ride, and consequently, I have all those photos of me touring around the lake because I beat him in cornhole.
Nice. Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was a dance contest. Dancing with Jake. All right. Hey, when we come back, a Rip Country Fishing Report. Man, you're out of hand. You are illegal.
I'm not worried about cutting the grass. Left my truck at the boat ramp and my boat is full of gas. My old boss thinks I'm sick today. He won't have me to harass. 'Cause I'm out here on the river and he can kiss my big old bass.
Alrighty then, that can only mean one thing. James Guggenauer, our master rod builder from Rune Country Custom Rods. Good morning, Brother James.
Good morning, Brother Don. How are you doing today?
You know, we're having too much fun down here with the Catfish guys, and Chief Cantrell and JK's up dancing on the table. So, wow.
I've been listening to that and, getting excited for the Bill Luke Bass Days. That's going to be another great tournament. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I look forward to that annually, and, having the Catfish guys out there kicking in, doing what they do. Hopefully we'll have, some meaningful fish to give to Adobe Mountain with the stripers, the whites, and the carp that are brought in. I'm looking forward to seeing the carp bull fishermen, see what they can do. And it's just going to be a good time.
Absolutely looking forward to it.
That's the whole sole motive here. And giving away $50,000 in cash, that's a whole nother deal. All right, what's going on up in the Rim Country? Did you get any snow?
Please.
Oh, Lord, no. No
Okay.
snow. We got a brief sprinkle night before last. It was threatening rain all day, and we just never really got any rain or snow from it. But we're still hopeful. Now, the fishing on Roosevelt Lake was called fair again this past week. That's the second week in a row that anglers called it fair. The water level is continuing to stand at 48% full. The Salt River increased, actually, in its flow rate. It's up to 80% of its normal rate. And the Tonneau Creek, although it's flowing, it's only at a couple cubic feet per second, so it has nearly stopped flowing on the Tonneau side. And I received some pretty detailed reports from local anglers this past week. One angler who's very experienced on Roosevelt Lake said for the first time this year he caught a few fish on a jerkbait. So I was kind of inquisitive why he thought that was a big deal. And he explained that as bass move into a pre-spawn pattern, typically a jerkbait is one of those baits that the bass like to chase. It means that they're a little bit more shallow, and it means that they're moving up into a pre-spawn date. Now, he cautioned me not to get too excited, but it's a good indication that in another month or so, things ought to be picking up on Roosevelt as we move closer into the pre-spawn and the spawn.
Well, I had a conversation with Cantrell last week, and we're really looking for an early spawn this year. I've had reports and fish already up looking for something to lock onto. So, depending on what the next week or two does, we're having a little bit of a weather temperature decline. That's going to cool stuff off, but it's coming.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Now, this morning up here in Payson, we were like in the low 20s, so it's pretty cold up here again this morning, but still we're increasing to a nice temperature midday, so as long as that cycle continues to ramp up, I wouldn't doubt at all that we have an early spawn. Hey, one other angler was telling me about his drop shot technique, fishing in 20 feet of water, and I'm still hearing this pattern where in the morning you want to go experiment a lot, try a lot of different baits, but in the afternoon, if you've got a clear day, you want to go to a drop shot in 20 feet or less. And, of course, always look for structure or cover, but, that was a good thing for the afternoon. And one old-timer down there tells me that this time of year he doesn't fish with anything but a 1-ounce jig in 50 feet of water in the middle of coves. Now, he literally puts his boat out into the lake and casts back into the middle of the cove, in the deepest part of the cove, and drag that jig. Don't hop it, don't bounce it, just drag it along the bottom, and he's picking up some good bass fishing that way. So, you've got to experiment, got to use different techniques this time of year, and always watch out water temperature, because 1 or 2 degrees water temperature can make a lot of difference.
What's the water temperature this week? Average.
Still in the 50s, but we keep looking for it to heat up in the afternoon. We always watch for that magic 55-degree number.
Yeah.
It really turns the spawn on. Still below that, but we're creeping up on it, so it won't be long. Hey, I had a couple of hot spots. I usually don't push anglers for exactly where they're fishing. I talk more about techniques, but if they offer it to me, I tell them I'm going to tell the world about it. So here it is this week. I was told that the humps that are around Windy Hill Ramp, a lot of guys know that Shelter Cove or Shelter Island around that area, and along the shore heading up towards the Salt, leaving Windy Hill Ramp are always good spots. Another good spot that was recommended was the islands that are directly across from the dam. And if you head way back there, it's actually Long Gulch is a cove that goes back there. Check the islands out back towards Long Gulch. They were producing pretty good this past week on a drop shot.
Yeah, that water's got to be a little bit warmer back there.
You're right. That's exactly what he told me, Don. That if the water's flat and the sun's beating on the rocks and stuff around those islands, that's a good fishing spot.
On that soft plastic jerk bait, what color was that one? Did he say?
White.
White. Would that have happened to have been a white ice?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah.
This time of year, when the water gets clear like that, the lighter colors are usually the ones that guys recommend. And, I personally like fishing the lighter baits in the wintertime when the water's clear like that. So, good times. Now, the crappie bite is still very slow. Don't know what to say other than we're excited that in March next month, the Game and Fish is actually going to do their first dedicated crappie survey. So I know they're talking to Kurt Rambo and they're talking to Art Chamberlain, and they're going to get some ideas about where to try to go, see if they can net some crappie. Typically, crappie are in deeper water, so the typical shocking techniques that they use don't work very well. So I know Kirk Gill's working hard to try to figure this out, and hopefully we can get some better data to support what a lot of crappie anglers are telling us, that they've been severely impacted by the gizzard shad. And hopefully as we work through the bass issues there, we can also consider the crappie and the bluegill.
Well, I think one of the things we started talking a little bit about it, and have talked about it in depth in the past, the three-prong approach to fixing Roosevelt Lake. One of the key catalysts is water. We have to have more water. And John, that...
And more catfish.
Yeah, the same thing applies. We're going to be looking, pretty low as we move into the spring and early summer. We're going to be hauling water up in 4B and C. And
we're going to be hauling water to every unit. Yeah. They've already put them on call for Unit 10 and 9. Both of those units are already, they're dry.
up in 10?
Mm-hmm. Nine particularly. 9's the worst. 9's the hardest for us to water. That's coming from the Grand Canyon towards Flagstaff, and they don't have any water.
Bam.
Yeah, I was just talking to a guy this week about that we've been at the 45 to 48% full of Roosevelt Lake for lots of months now, probably close to a year. And, if we go into the spring, like you're saying, Don, at that level, and Salt River Project has to start drawing the lake down, it could be a low summer.
Well, Jim, they are. In the fight that we had last year was Bartlett. They drew Bartlett down to a pretty scary low level to the point. I don't remember what I think it was like 62,000 surface acres. I could be wrong on that, but it was low enough. The marina was in the mud before there was enough political pressure to have them switch over to Roosevelt. So, they've got factors in a plan and a crystal ball over there that doesn't work real well. So we'll see how that works out.
Hey, one more story. I want to tell you a funny story this week. I always go down to Green Valley Park here in Payson during the week, and I talk to some of the anglers down there. And I've told you in past weeks that there's, the same guys are always sitting there in their aluminum chairs, with their rods on rod stands, sitting there having, I call it the good old boys club. Well, this week I go down there and there's two young anglers standing on the dock. These kids were probably 10 years old. So I go over and I ask them, how you doing? What are you fishing with? This kid says, I don't fish with anything on this lake except for worms and green and yellow power bait.
10 years old.
Already figuring it out.
Yep.
And so I said, well, is it working? And each of them pulled these metal stringers out of the water that they had attached to the dock. And each of them had about a 13-inch trout hanging there. So I said, well, okay, I don't even need to go talk to anybody else. I know what's working down here. So I had no reason to doubt that they knew exactly what's going on in Green Valley this week.
Yeah, man. Hey, is there any catfish in that lake?
There is. There are catfish, there are crappie, there are bass.
Oscar Mayer time.
I'm thinking.
Yeah. We could go up and have a blast with that in that little Green Valley pond there.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. Hey, I have been remiss. I did not wish anybody happy Groundhog Day.
Oh, thanks for remembering, Don.
Hey, and I even have an update for you. The groundhog saw his shadow, so we will have 6 more weeks of winter. So I thought, well, that's good. Maybe we still have a chance of some rain or snow up there.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, we need to get it over with before March 14th, 15th, and 16th.
There you go.
Yeah. I got your email on the Bigfoot. So you believe now, Jim?
I believe now after watching that video. I'm with you, brother.
All right. Look for a Bigfoot near you. By the way, the wolves are coming to a town near you in Arizona.
As well, yeah.
All righty. Hey, wishing James Kuchenauer and all the boys up in Payson happy Super Bowl and happy Groundhog Day. We're going to flip into a break. When we come back, we're going to get this thing wrapped up with Mr. President and the Secretary of Public Relations. I got it right this time.
Nice job.
And JK. Safeguard Business Systems.
For dinner, a nice scotch and soda. Now that ought to help you to lose. No whipped cream, no butter, just lay in the gutter and booze, booze, booze. Suppose you should meet a policeman who says you've been quenching your thirst. You just tell him it's physical fitness and health.
All righty, we're back. Couple things you need to know about Alamo Lake. March 1st, 2014 is having a lake cleanup.
Oh.
Annual event hosted by W.M. Stu Conkey from AZGFD. That happens to be his watch. Registration begins at 6 p.m. on Friday, February 28th at the Alamo Lake Group Use Area Choya Campground. The cleanup will begin on Saturday, March the 1st from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. You do need to bring a pair of gloves. Arizona State Parks will magnanimously waive the camping and boat launch fees for registered cleanup participants staying at the Cholla use. If you have a boat, bring it along. Arizona Game and Fish will operate a boat for a collection of large shoreline litter. There is a dinner, a raffle being held on Saturday night for the participants.
Good.
Wonderful.
Oh, by the way, Don, just so you know, too, Bill Luke Sweet Bass giveaway, we got room for one more qualifier, and they have to call 602-277-5369. One more qualifier, and we're in for the night.
All righty. Thank you for that. And if you're interested on the Alamo cleanup, Stu Conkey, Wildlife Manager, 928-856-0706. You can find that on the SRT website, as well as all of the stuff for the Sweet Bass giveaway. We need to get something in there for the catfishing guys. Maybe we ought to throw in a package of Oscar Mayer. The ones
case
with the,
of Oscar
no,
Mayer.
No. With the ones with the cheese in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. That'll get them going. Real good. They like that cheese.
That's the best
for
part. If you're catfishing, you can eat your own bait. If you're bass fishing, you don't dare.
You know, and bass have acclimated, so here in the Southwest, it has to be the Oscar Mayer with the jalapeno and cheese. That's
right.
when they really hit it.
Got to get that spiciness in there.
Yeah.
Hot mustard.
Oh.
You know, the catfishing and the Oscar Mayers, you know, it's all good stuff. Kids go out there, get involved, and tie on a hot dog, and, you know, pretty darn sure you're probably going to get a bite, and night crawlers work really well, but, you know, a lot of the guys out there, they use big live baits, and, you know, that brings up an interesting topic when you talk about flatheads and that particular species and what they eat. At Roosevelt Lake, gizzard shad are a big problem there. And those gizzard shad, they grow to such huge sizes, probably even beyond the capabilities of what your run-of-the-mill largemouth is capable of eating.
Well, that's part of the problem, but since you brought that up, how big of a, let's say a 40 to 60 pound flathead, how big of a fish can he engulf?
Well, I really don't think there's any kind of a limit. You've got a 10-pound fish, say it's an egg-sucking carp, and or it's a gizzard shad, you know.
Was that particular comment blessed by your Secretary of Public Relations?
Well, you know, carps are a big problem out there. You know, they devastate nests and
they love them largemouth eggs.
Absolutely, and flatheads take advantage of those carp, and they certainly do love to eat them. While you can go out there and have luck using hot dogs and stink bait and all that stuff, but if you really want to get into the catfishing, you know, big bait, big fish.
It's a science. It's not unlike anything else. Bass fishing at a tournament level has become a well-defined science. Your sport, same way. Crappie guys, same thing.
It's all about figuring out what works
trout,
for you and everything.
Wet flies, dry flies, worms. It always boils back down to worms.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a common
it's the best
denominator.
bait there. Best bait out there.
Yeah.
You can catch anything with them.
I've been out there pitching worms, night crawlers into rocks, and I've got a bass guy behind me throwing a sparkly lure, and here I just landed a 5-pounder, and he says, "Oh man, let me have that."
Yeah. Well, let's give your information out. Categorically, if you want to participate in Bill Luke Bass Day's 16th annual event, March 14th, 15th, 16th, you can go to BillLukeBassDays.com or Shake, Rattle, and Troll website, either one. You can register on BillLukeBassDays.com. You can register in person at either one of the Sportsman's Warehouse in Mesa or Phoenix up on Yorkshire Drive, or at the dealership. Now, there's a caveat there. There's bonus money. If you sign up at the dealership Friday and Saturday
and log in,
$1,000. If you sign the book at Sportsman's Warehouse on Saturday, $1,000. So let's just say you catch a nice big fat bass.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to win $300 for your hourly weigh-in. You're going to win $1,000 for big fish. you're going to win. If you sign the book, you're going to win $1,000 for that, and then you're going to get a check for $10,000.
Wow.
That totaled $12,300
and some change.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We've got some other fun options. There's a T-shirt option. If you have the Bill Luke T-shirt, that pays $1,000 each day for having the 7th biggest bass during the 11 to 12 weigh-in. I've won that.
Did you really?
I have. I actually personally have won that. Only that day it wasn't you had to have a 2.5 pound bass. It's changed a little bit, but yeah.
By the way, you're going to be busy all that weekend. I've watched you through this process.
Busy?
Yeah. I mean, you and your brother are both kind of frantic, running around doing everything.
Understatement.
So, yeah. Can I use your boat?
That boat, let's see, one of our sponsors, Channel 3, AZT Family TV, will be down there early Saturday morning with Wally Cahill on his auto review with the brand new Ram.
Ooh.
And the bass boat. Other than that, yeah.
Thank you, Don.
That 250's got a pull rope on it. If you can pull it, get it started, it's all yours. It's not like pulling your bow back.
No.
Let's just it's
going to
about
make you sweat a little bit.
11 to 1 compression ratio. Anyway, that's about it. Check out the SRT website, BillLukeBassDays.com. Your website?
My website is catfishaz.com. That's the ACCA, and check us out for future tournaments and future events that are going to take place.
You got one coming up, right?
Yeah, we've got of course, aside from the Bill Luke Big Bass Days, we've got the Flat Cat Classic, and that's going to take place in May, the first week in May. It's going to be May 2nd through the 4th, so come out and join us for that.
Shoot me some information. We'll get it up there. JK, God love you, man. Thanks for the bagels today.
You're welcome, Don. Thanks for letting me be on.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you for the hospitality. Appreciate it.
Andy, thank you. Give my regards to Bobby Wright and the rest of your crew. Hey, I'm Don McDowell.
John Colazar.
Eric Cutt.
Andy Surgic.
Take your kids fishing, hug your bass boat, salute a soldier, and I want to try Oscar Mayer.
And get some slime on that boat.
Yeah, slime.
With a piece of cornbread laying on a shelf, you want any more, you can pick it yourself.